It was a cold and quiet evening when an Uber driver, Alex, received a sudden ride request. He had been working since the afternoon and was contemplating calling it a day when his phone screen lit up with the notification. With a sigh, he accepted the ride and drove to the pickup location, not expecting the chaotic turn his night was about to take. As he pulled up to the curb, a man burst out of a nearby house, carrying a small child in his arms. His face was pale with fear, his breath ragged. Without even waiting for Alex to properly stop, he yanked open the back door and jumped in, clutching the child tightly against his chest. "I'll pay you double, just hurry, please!" the man shouted, his voice filled with desperation. Alex barely had time to process what was happening, but something in the man's eyes told him that this was an emergency. Without hesitation, he slammed his foot on the gas pedal and sped off into the night. The city streets blurred past as he maneuvered through traffic, honking wildly and running red lights. Other cars, sensing the urgency, swerved out of the way, giving them a clear path forward. The child in the man's arms appeared lifeless, her small frame limp. The man's panicked whispers filled the back seat. "Hold on, sweetheart. Stay with me. We're almost there." Alex's hands gripped the wheel tighter. He had been a driver for years and had encountered all sorts of passengers, drunk ones, angry ones, even heartbroken ones, but never had he experienced something like this. He could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him, the life of a child resting on how fast he could get to the hospital. Then the sound of sirens pierced through the air. In the rearview mirror, Alex spotted the flashing red and blue lights of a police car trailing them. His stomach tightened. He knew he was breaking multiple traffic laws, and now the cops were onto him. "Sir, the police are behind us," he warned. "Don't stop. Please keep going," the man begged. "My daughter swallowed a coin. She's choking. She needs help now." Alex hesitated for a split second, then made his choice. He wasn't about to let a child die because he was afraid of getting arrested. Ignoring the wailing sirens, he pressed down on the accelerator, weaving skillfully through the late-night traffic. The police, now convinced they were chasing a criminal on the run, continued the pursuit, their presence growing stronger with each passing second. After what felt like an eternity, they skidded to a stop in front of the hospital. Before Alex could say anything, the man flung the door open and sprinted inside, cradling his daughter as he disappeared through the hospital's entrance. Alex exhaled sharply, his hands still trembling on the wheel. He barely had a moment to catch his breath before the flashing lights behind him grew brighter. Within seconds, multiple officers surrounded his car, guns drawn. "Step out of the vehicle! Hands where we can see them!" one of them ordered. Alex slowly raised his hands and exited the car. He didn't try to explain. He knew it wouldn't matter at that moment. The officers pinned him against the hood of his car, handcuffing him as they rattled off his rights. He didn't resist. He only hoped the little girl was okay. Moments later, the man came rushing back outside, his face a mixture of relief and horror as he saw what was happening. He pushed past the officers and dropped to his knees beside Alex. "Please don't arrest him. Take me instead. It's my fault," he pleaded. "My daughter was choking. He was just trying to help us." The officer in charge turned to Alex. "Were you aware of the situation?" Alex shook his head. "No, sir, but when I saw how desperate he was, I knew it was serious. If that had been my child, I'd want someone to do the same." For a moment, there was only silence. The officer studied Alex's face, as if searching for deception, but all he found was sincerity. Then slowly, his expression softened, and he gave a small nod. "Take off the cuffs," he ordered. One of the officers hesitated but obeyed, unlocking the restraints from Alex's wrists. As the metal fell away, the man threw his arms around Alex in a grateful embrace. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "You saved my daughter's life." Alex, still overwhelmed by everything that had just happened, managed a small smile. "I just did what anyone should do." The officer patted Alex on the shoulder. "You're free to go. Drive safely." As the police car pulled away, the man turned back to Alex, reaching into his pocket. "I promised you double. Here." Alex held up a hand, shaking his head. "Keep it. Use it for your daughter." The man's eyes shone with gratitude. "I won't forget this." As Alex got back into his car and drove away, he let out a deep breath. Tonight had been unlike any other night on the job. He hadn't just been a driver, he had been a lifeline. And in his heart, he knew he had done the right thing.